So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Global Networking Forum. And we'd like to thank the IF that they have given us the opportunity to talk about an educational program, which has been done over the last 18 months at Graz University of Technology. It is about SpaceTech, a master course, a professional master course about space systems and business engineering. So, SpaceTech has been existing for a long while, and I would like to introduce Edward Ashford. It's very difficult to introduce Ed because nearly everybody knows Ed. He will talk about the foundation of SpaceTech, and then I will continue and introduce the program. And then we are in the lucky situation that we have two of the most recent participants to the SpaceTech course, Eugen Svoboda and Anibal Lopez, who just graduated a week ago. And they will tell you about their experience, and they will also tell you about the core, the central case project and the outcome of that. Ed, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me say that SpaceTech has been in existence since the mid-90s. And it started with one of my colleagues at STech, where I was working, and the dean of aerospace engineering at that time, getting together and deciding that there was a need for a new kind of course. The new kind of course was not to provide a master's degree to people who had just graduated from college, but to provide a broad master's degree to mid-career professionals who needed to broaden their horizons, not only technically, but in terms of business. At that time, the whole idea of a public-private partnership was just beginning to be discussed. And we realized that while there were people in industry that knew a fair amount of business, normally they weren't engineers, they were MBAs that had studied economics or some similar field. The engineers needed to know about business if they were going to continue with the PPP type approaches, and if they were going to support industry to make money. So what they came up with a program that had 50% technical and 50% business. Not only that, but since it was to be aimed at mid-career professionals, who generally are so important for their companies that the companies don't want to leave them go to full-time at a university for a year or 18 months, they arranged it so it would be taught in 2-week segments, and between each 2-week segment, they would be roughly 2 months where the participants could go back to their jobs and do gainful employment. And I noticed somebody just walking in that is the founder of SpaceTech at TU Delft, Heinz Tuve. But at any rate, they started this program, and I was involved at the beginning. I was just asked to give a guest lecture on mobile satellites. Well, I liked what I was doing, and apparently they liked me because they kept asking me to do more and more as time went on. And over the years, I wound up being a lecturer, a member of the advisory board, a member of the curriculum committee, and on 2 occasions, the director of the program itself. So I know it pretty well, and I will explain what it was then, and then Otto will explain how it's morphed into something bigger and better. The whole program was supposed to teach people how to get profit from space, how to do business in space. And part of that was what was called the Central Case Project. They were given a general topic of space and told, go find a way to make money with the general topic. And the 2-month segments between sessions, they were expected to work together as teams with Skype or with the telephone or emails in order to be able to investigate the central case project, and at the end, they were supposed to come up with a professional quality technical proposal, as if they were proposing to a board of directors, a fully professional quality business proposal, an executive summary, and have a final presentation open to the public for peer review. And this whole process was to be completed in 1 year. The modules that were being taught were first, I said, of course, business engineering. The other one was space missions design, telecommunications satellites, Earth observation satellites, navigation satellites, systems engineering in the general sense, not necessarily specifically oriented to space, but as applied to space. And then finally, interactive skills and leadership development. And all of these were taught at 1 week duration generally, although the interactive skills was spread over the entire program, and the business engineering was spread a little bit because we wanted to be able to help the participants in coming up with their CCP results. The program finally, unfortunately, ground to an end at TU Delft when the dean, who had been very supportive of the program, retired, and a new dean came in. And the new dean wasn't familiar with the program at all, and he said, well, wait a minute, I've got a 1-year program that gives a master's degree. This was not an academic master's, it was a professional master's, but still a master's degree. And I have a 2-year program that gives an academic degree, both called systems engineering, or both containing system engineering. I don't think I should do that because I think it'll be confusing to the applicants in the future. And I told him, at that time I was the director, I told him, well, for 13 years it hasn't been confusing. We've gotten good participation, but his mind was made up. And he said, if you want to continue the program, you have to continue it just as a diploma program, a certificate program, not with a master's degree at the end. And unfortunately, people had to work so hard during the SpaceTech studies that they expected to get something out of it at the end, and we didn't get enough applicants to continue. So I was given the marching orders to go around to other universities and see if any of them would be willing to take it. And I'll leave it to Otto to explain how it wound up in TU Graz. But with that history, he'll explain what it is now.
Thank you very much, Ed. The transition was the following. We were sitting at the IAC in Naples a couple of years ago in the sunshine, and Ed and Manfred Wittig, who is also lecturing at SpaceTech, or has been lecturing at SpaceTech, asked whether the Technical University Graz could take over the program. I must say in the beginning I was a bit hesitant, but one should not underestimate the importance of beer for space endeavors. Then over a couple of beers we finally agreed that we will look into that. And at our university we had a very lucky situation because our former rector and also the former vice rector for teaching, they are both space people, one in satellite geodesy, the other one in satellite navigation. So we invited Ed to give a presentation on the SpaceTech program, and then we had some discussions with our curricular commission. So what we did is we expanded the program to become compliant with the Bologna rules. We expanded it from 1 year to 18 months. And we included, first of all, an additional module. So here on the screen you see all the current modules. Most of them already existed in the original SpaceTech, but we included human spaceflight, and we got as the module manager a famous professor and a former astronaut, Professor Ernst Messerschmidt, who is in charge on that. And then also we included a master thesis. So the participants have to work on the central case project, which is a central part and then they have to present the individual contributions to this project. The project is done as a team effort, and you will hear about that from Annibal and Eugen in a moment. But in the master thesis, they will then cover their individual contributions. As Ed said, we continued the very successful procedures. So there are present sessions where in a very intensive 2 weeks, the important issues of telecoms, navigation, project management, business engineering, you all had that on the previous slide. The participants don't sleep very much in these 2 weeks, so it's a hard time from, let's say, early in the morning to late night. But that allows that people can continue with their normal professional activities. So they have to be away for a period of 2 weeks, and then there are the intersection parts. Distance learning and electronic means for teaching are central to that. And as it was mentioned before, the central case project is a very big element. This is similar to a space phase A-B study. And the target audience for SpaceTech are postgraduate mid-career professionals. Oops, can we have the slide back? It just disappeared. Can we have the slide? Okay, it's here again. Thank you. So they should have at least 5 years of professional experience, and actually we want to educate the future space leaders from space organizations or space industry. So in here we have the team from SpaceTech 2016. So we have 3 participants from STEC, we have 2 from Airbus, 1 from EUMETSAT, 1 self-funded participant, and they worked on a joint activity. The venues are the European Space Centers, where we have the present sessions. The first and the last one is at our university. Then there is in March, the next round will be in March next year. There's an online session taught by Professor Wiley Larsen, so he's the top expert in systems engineering. And then we have a present session at EXAT in Harwell, at DLR, GSOC in Oberpfaffenhofen near Munich, 1 at ESRIN, 1 near CNES, and 1 at STEC. So the central case project for this round has been supported by European Space Agency and is in support of ESA's Moon Village. So the participants designed a set of cooperative rovers, a bigger one and 5 smaller ones, and they did the mechanical, electrical, thermal, power, telecommunications design. They elaborated the navigation and artificial intelligence systems so that the rovers could move around. And there was also the power generation on the moon as a study, and this found its way then in the individual master thesis, and of course then collectively into the central case project. So one of the small rovers with hopping capability is the so-called nanobot, and thanks to Eugen Svoboda, who runs his own mechanical engineering company, we built a mock-up. The small one is here. We have a bigger one, the one-to-one version, and that even made it to the picture of the week on the ESA website when we had the session at STEC. Also, the participants have to elaborate a business case. Well, when we decided that we do something in relation to Moon Village, we thought, well, it's a challenge to elaborate a business case, but the participants did that in an excellent way. So they found a way in the gaming area, controlling the nanobots from Earth and getting revenue from the gaming and the merchandising. It was a very clever idea. So here is a picture from the graduation ceremony on the 19th of September, which we had in our Aula Magna. And a few more facts and figures about SpaceTech. It's a 3-semester program spanning over 18 months. The language is all English. It's 19 ECTS credits. Well, it's not for free. It costs some money, so it's 34,000 euros. But as the Americans say, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And it compares, I think, with MBA courses, but here it has a large technical and scientific content as well as a business engineering content. So the start of the next program will be in March 2018, and the application deadline will be 15th of January. Ed and myself have the pleasure to act as the directors for SpaceTech, and there's also a very important person, my colleague Peter Schrotter. So he does all the logistics and he supports all the programs. Now, before we enter the questions, I would invite Anibal Lopez and Eugen Svoboda to come on stage and to tell you about their experience during the SpaceTech program. Can we have the second presentation? Excellent. So green is forward.
Thank you very much. Welcome. My name is Anibal Lopez. I work at DLR, the German aerospace agency. And as it was mentioned before, yes, SpaceTech is an international participation. Most of us are coming from different places from Europe. That's not completely true, because I am representing Germany, but I'm Argentinian. And in the past, there were also people from other parts of the other continent. As it was mentioned, one of the key of this master program are the lectures. Those are the reference in the space academia. Some of them are well known by their books, and others for the reference in the industry. The master program has 3 main objectives. One is the central case project, that the mission is to create a virtual startup with real situations, real stakeholders, and real problems to overcome. During the period, we have a very intensive strain on system and business engineering, because both of them are coming together in life. And during the whole process, we were guided to develop our interpersonal skills. This helped us to overcome the different situations that happens in this virtual environment and in the real one. As it was mentioned, the master program has quite a long time, and the alumni is very extensive. And during our sessions in the different agencies or industry facilities, we have met some of them in the managerial areas. And it's mentioned here, SpaceTech is feeling tired. We had a lot to work, a lot to study. We had to work as students. We had to work in our normal works. We had our personal life a little bit during these 18 months. It was really hard time, but we had a lot of satisfactions. The Central Case project aims to have a contribution to the Moon Village, also to be profitable in the first 8 or 10 years after the first investment. And the other problem is that it should be done in the next 10 years. So it was not simple to do that. So we have a lot of a storm of ideas, and from these ones we came out with one that was a dual-purpose mission. This allowed us to satisfy one of the main sacred requirements for the Moon Village, is that it needs to be a project that engages the general public as well. The proposed mission is going to operate on the moon surface, nice and simple. And our target area is the Marius Hills, that is located in the near edge west of the near side of the moon. This area has a particularity that is soft, it's a smooth land. It allows soft landing, and also allows or simplify a little bit the direct communication to Earth. So now I will give the place to Eugen.
Yeah, good morning also from my side. My name is Eugen Svoboda. And why lava tubes? Well, out of 3 reasons. As mentioned before, it was sponsored by ESA, and so it has to be a contribution to ESA's Moon Village. And lava tubes might protect in the future human habitats against radiation, against the harsh temperature gradient, and so on. And that's the first reason. The second reason is, it's, as mentioned also before, a dual-purpose mission, science and entertainment. And for the science reason, there's very little known about lava tubes, if they are just craters, pits, or if they are real skylights to lava tubes. And last but not least, the entertainment part of the mission. Caves on the moon are exciting, so it's cool stuff. But I want to underline the plan of this mission is not to enter the lava tubes, but to find out more about the region there, and to find out even if they are big pits, craters, holes, or real caves, lava tubes in a way. So in the beginning of this 18 months, we came up with something like 50 business ideas. And due to a decision process, we narrowed it down to one business idea: mobile platforms on the lunar surface. And then we iterated a system engineering and also business engineering process several times, and in the end there was the idea or the concept of one main mobile platform, quite the size of one of the Mars exploration rovers Spirit or Opportunity, with the purpose science and also the purpose to be a communication gateway to Earth for the 5 small mobile platforms, the nanopods, also to support the nanopods in their navigation, and provide energy to recharge the batteries of the nanopods via wireless power transmission. Well, we have a big main mobile platform with solar arrays, with radiators, with a robot arm, with a board in the back for the wireless recharging, with a camera mast, and this 5 small nanobots. The specialty of this nanobot is its locomotion type. It's a hybrid type out of driving and also hopping. Hopping by moving its suspension systems to entertain the general public, also due to gaming, but also on other ways. Just to give you an idea, I have there a picture of my head next to the 1x1 mock-up scale model, just to give you an idea of the size. And we are very proud, as also mentioned before, that we were on the 2nd of August this year on the ESA's homepage, the pick of the day, with our nanobot concept, and it was also spread all over the social media channels of ESA. Yeah, well, so summing up, it was challenging, but it was exciting to have this central case project, this virtual startup with system business and business engineering, and also all this relationships and interpersonal development through the group, and also to have all these world-class lectures in the different fields at all these nice locations all over Europe. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Eugen and Annibal. Now, I have some brochures here. Who is interested in the program, please take one. Also you might know somebody who would be interested in joining the program. Also, if you are a decision maker and you have some co-workers whom you would like to take part in this program, give it to them. And now we have 2 more minutes. Are there any questions from the audience? Yes, please.
Hello. Just to sort of better understand about the sort of focus of an objective of this program, would you be able to sort of give some examples of the typical backgrounds of the previous, of the alumni? Are they coming from technical roles, hoping to accelerate further in their technical career, or are they coming from non-technical roles like procurement, etc.?
It's from technical. So the requirement is that you should have already some background in electrical engineering, informatics, physics. So that's the major requirement. However, we are just now in the discussion that we expand it a little bit so that also people who have a slightly different background can join. However, due to the requirement of the university and that you are eligible then for the degree, in this case, they would have to pass maybe some additional examinations to fill the gaps where they have not the background yet. But predominantly, I mean, in our case, people have degrees in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, informatics in the present group. Any other questions? Yes, please.
Thank you. I was wondering if you have already some, let's say, insight of the new case study project for the next session or program?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. Actually, we are in discussion right now with potential supporters of the next CCP. This one was supported by ESA, but this is just work in progress, and hopefully in very due course the topic will be there. And by the way, the final report, which is several hundred pages, and as I said, it's equivalent to a phase A/B study. This belongs to ESA because they funded it. However, the executive summary is public, and it's available on the website of TU Graz. So if you just Google SpaceTech TU Graz, and there you will find in downloadable form the executive summary, which tells you even more that we could communicate here in these few minutes about the program.
Add 1 or 2 things if I could. The Central Case project is something that we have stored up at least 12 possible opportunities to have it if we don't get a sponsorship. We would prefer a sponsorship because, of course, the university gets money that way. But if we don't have a sponsorship, we have about 12 things. And also on the website are not only the executive summary from the last CCP, but all the executive summaries, also the ones that were for Delft. So you can get an idea of the types of things that have been done in the past. And every time we have a new CCP, we try to find something different, but at least it gives you an opportunity to see how the history went.
Thank you very much, Ed. I think it's time for the next slot here. So thank you very much for coming, and if you want to have some material, it's up here. Thank you.